Welcome back. Now, when this gentleman started his business some 12 years ago, people didn't give him a chance. Some considered the name House of Kiji Pa hilarious. But today, this dynamic young gentleman has taken Kiji Pa Couture to the next level. His leather shoes, slippers, and belts are stocked by shops all over the world. Now, he recently launched his Kiji Boss collection. I like that name, Kiji Boss, which the big boys in town cannot resist. So how did Adewale achieve all of this? And he's here to tell us the story behind it. You might find some of his styles a bit different, a bit eccentric, but it's still, you know, very, very exciting when you see some of his stuff. And anyway, 12-year journey, Adewale. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir.
Really nice to be with you, Yomi.
Yeah, look, the first question I always tell people when I meet entrepreneurs is, I don't know how you do it and how you do it in this economy, but thumbs up to you. This has been a 12-year journey for you. Just take us briefly on that journey over the next 1 minute. Let's know exactly how you started, why you started, and how you got to this point.
Well, it's been quite a journey, an interesting one at that. You know, I actually hit the scene at a point when the fashion industry in Nigeria was not ripe enough for Nigerians to know that they need to start, you know, consuming the Nigerian product. There was a time when it was the in thing for people to actually look outwards. You know, it was that time that, you know, the cliche, it's imported, was, you know, part of the, you know, the norms, you know, when we started. And then I remember vividly, it was always all about the freeze, you know, so everybody thought, okay, so you start a business, you know, clothing business, and then it's not all about them seeing the value you've come to add. It's all about them seeing and thinking that they have to add value to you, you know, by consuming your products, you know. And then I remember vividly that, you know, one of the in thing for me then was particularly to make sure that I hit the notes, you know, and then put the, you know, right pegs in the right holes by creating masterpieces that will rival or compete with the international market brands, you know, products, you know. And then we started out, you know, creating the leather lines because we didn't have enough resources to start the clothing line. And I remember vividly that the first piece of my product that I ever sold to get, you know, cash for was actually at a banking hall, you know, somewhere in Lagos here. You know, and then it was because I was having that piece on, and then somebody saw it and said, who made this for you? You know, and then the person bought it, and I was like, oh, wow. So I just made history today. And then, you know, I remember that I started in Bagada, you know, in just a room, you know, and then I started, you know, using my name, and then I thought about creating an eclectic, you know, African piece that would sell the African lifestyle to the world, #1, and then attract people to me. And then, you know, I created the first piece, and I thought, so how am I going to sell this? So we thought about the dramatic name, you know, and then it just came to my mind that I should use an African name to sell an African product to the, you know, whole world.
I like the story. You know, it's one thing for you to be an artist or someone who is a creator, and you want to start something new and push it out there and even give it a name. So it's one thing to start something, give it a name, and it's another thing to sell it. You understand? So you talked about making your first sale in a banking hall. Somebody approached you and said, oh, did you make that? And then you bought it. But after that, how do you then have a marketing plan or a sales plan? How did you eventually begin to say, okay, you know what, this was my first. I'm going to start pushing this material out and engaging the general public to be able to see the value of it.
So first of all, I talked about, you know, what value do you have to add, you know, and then, you know, I thought about, you know, creating quality masterpieces, and then beyond creating quality masterpieces lies the fact that you need to satisfy and relate with, you know, people's psyches, you know, psychology, you know. So I thought about, you know, creating quality masterpieces, and then relating it to people's lifestyle across the world, particularly African lifestyle, you know. And then that way, I knew who my customers were, you know, know your customer, you know. And then I thought about reaching out to them. So it was all about distributing, you know, the products electronically or manually, you know. So we got, you know, to negotiate for chains of stores that could, you know, stock us as RTW, you know, while we marketed ourselves, of course, you know, creating, you know, very super masterpieces for clients that, you know, would want to reorder because they're satisfied with the pieces. And then after they reorder, then they become a part of your brand, you know, because they are, you know, customers that are won through quality services.
I like that. I like the angle that you're coming from. But, you know, it's today everybody's talking about, oh, Africa to the world, you know. When you go to Canada, the US, Europe, people are buying African craft and African materials. But was it difficult at the early stage for you to be able to sell Africa? You know, because I mean, you were talking about 12 years ago, you talked about the fact that people liked imported things. So if you're wearing a tie or a suit or whatever it is, once you say it's imported, everybody's like, ah, okay, this is a rich guy. So how was it difficult at the beginning to sell Africa to Africans and also internationally as well?
So I'll take your question this way. I'd like to say that the timing was ripe, you know. Taking it back to like about 30 years ago within the Nigerian fashion industry, it was a no-no for an RTW, a ready-to-wear line from a fashion designer in Nigeria. You know, I wouldn't even think about it. You know, it was kind of like a messy thing. You know, as a consumer within the fashion market, you know, I'm taking myself as a consumer. And then down the line, I thought that the time was just ripe. You know, people just got doing things right almost around the same time, and then Nigerians got aware of what we have within us, the values we can offer within us, and then the world's attention drew close to, you know, the African market, particularly Nigerian market. I give kudos to Nigerian fashion designers because they're doing amazingly, and I think they're just inspiring the rest of the world. I remember clearly, just to diversify a little bit, at the GT Fashion Week in 2018, the Gucci designer, the Dapper Dan Gucci partner designer saw my design and wowed, and he actually bought my designs at that show.
Wow.
You know, so that's how far we've gone, how far well we've gone. So I'd say that the journey has been tough, you know, but along the line, the market got prepared, you know, the world got prepared for Africa to shine, and then it was the right time, and then the right people came on board, and then, you know, the market got stirred up, and we have what we have today.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, right now, I mean, so now you're doing your leather gear on the one hand.
It's a line.
And then you have your ready-to-wear clothing line as well.
And then we do bespoke as well. So we're just like a traditional tailor to people that comes across our way.
Very nice, very nice. How can I find your social media?
We're on Kiji Pa Couture on all social media handles. KIJIPA COUTURE, www.kijipacouture.com on our website official.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wanted this conversation to last a bit longer, but we're not able to take any more questions. I wanted to go deeper into the industry itself, how you guys source your materials, go to the markets, and how much money you're making now, even though you might not tell me.
It's a crazy process.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the passion and then, you know, the will to want to add value is actually what my personal drive is, and I think that's what every other fashion entrepreneur strives as well.
That's amazing. Adewale, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to also be joining us in the kitchen this morning.
Ooh, wow.
Taking you to breakfast. And Titi and yes, indeed. Right. Titi and Mary are already in the kitchen with